Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with the IRS. Today I'm going to talk to you about IRS tax debt forgiveness and what that means and how you qualify for that. I'm a former agent. I worked at IRS for 10 years. I've been in private practice for 40 years. I've been doing this 50 years. Many of you have seen me on the many news stations I've been on, and you've come to me through my YouTube station. I appreciate you. I have about 7,000 subscribers. You will find me to be extremely honest and trustworthy. I give you the information that you want, and I give you inside secrets about IRS. You can see all my news interviews and me in a coat and tie, and look at my team, which is more important, at 777irs.com. Anyway, I want to talk to you today about IRS tax debt forgiveness and what that's like, how you qualify it, and talk to you about the whole program. I do this all within 5 minutes so I don't waste your time. As a former IRS agent, I used to accept offers in compromise, tax debt forgiveness, and I used to deny offers in compromise, tax debt forgiveness. So the tax debt forgiveness program is centered around the offer and compromise program. That's what this whole thing is all about. And one of the problems with the offer program is that the many ads you see on Facebook and Instagram, on the radio, you hear all these ads about IRS tax debt forgiveness, and they can go ahead and settle for less. You get letters. If you have a federal tax lien filed, you are going to get mobs and mobs and mobs of letters and emails and calls, because now you are on a list because you are on public information. So all of a sudden, everyone's going to tell you you're eligible for tax debt forgiveness, and the reality is you may not be. So let me just tell you a couple things since I worked that program as a former agent. The offer and compromise program is a very specific program. It's not, well, let me just put in 20% and see if they take that offer. That's not how that program works. I would first tell you to go to the pre-qualifier tool for the offer and compromise. It's called the pre-qualifier tool. Go to irs.gov or just put IRS pre-qualifier tool for an offer, and it should populate. Is it fairly accurate? It gives you a good ballpark. The only way you're going to know if you're really qualified is to contact a professional who understands what that program really is. There's two really basic criteria for it I'm going to explain to you just in a second. Do not give your money to anybody. There's so many ads out there, so many people promising that they can settle your debt, and the reality, you may not have that. So basically, what I suggest to you to do is you want to speak to an attorney, a CPA, or an enrolled agent. Those are the only people who can go ahead and settle your tax debt. They're the only people licensed to go ahead and do that. At our firm, you speak actually directly to me when you call, and I'll let you know if you're eligible for the program. Basically, anyone needs to see your IRS financial statement to tell you whether you're eligible. There are people have taken these one-page sheets and try to transform them into something else. You need to see the IRS financial statement, because up front we're going to know whether you're eligible. So I just want to tell you a couple things. All your tax returns need to be filed, or IRS isn't going to accept the offer. You must be current with your estimate payments if you're self-employed, or if you're a wage earner, you have to have your W-2s or your W-4 up to date with withholding coming out. You have to have those two things or your offer is rejected. IRS is going to drill down on two things. They're going to look at your assets, see if you can pay the tax. If you have the money to pay the tax but you can't liquidate it, IRS isn't going to accept the offer because you have the asset to pay the tax. And IRS is going to look at your income, and IRS is going to drill down on your income and expenses, because IRS has what's called a national standard. That means IRS is only going to allow you what they want to allow you according to the Department of Labor. They have a fixed number that they're going to give you. You may put your rent down or your mortgage, and IRS and say, no, we can't do that. Department of Labor says that's wrong. And the United States Bankruptcy Court uses these figures. If you want to know what those figures are, you can go to IRS National Standards for food and clothing, IRS national standards for housing and utilities, IRS national standards for car payments, IRS national standards for car expenses. You'll learn quickly what IRS is going to allow. The bottom line to all of this is if you think you're eligible for the program, you can go to that tool and use that tool and try to put your offer in. If it's a large dollar case and it's a business case, don't do that by yourself because you're not going to get your offer accepted. It's a lot more complicated than that. The forms are ridiculous to go ahead and fill out. They should have made them a lot easier, but they want to make sure you're a true candidate for the offer, and IRS does an excellent job at least asking all the questions they need to. So remember, IRS tax debt forgiveness goes through the offer and compromise program. The offer and compromise program comes down to what are your assets, what's your income and expenses. If you have any questions, you're welcome to send them to me. Please give me a subscription. That really helps me because it lets YouTube know we're doing a good job. Thank you so much. We represent people all day long.